Hi, plastic people. So, sorry I'm late. Having problems with cameras and getting them working correctly. So, we're getting there. So, I think we're done with the CNC Tap, but I want to go through and make sure I got the right hardware to mount the afterburner or the stealth burner and that to it. 3x25s and 3x50s. I never did order the micro or whatever they are, the tiny little JST jumpers, so that I can splice wires in rather than trying to crimp those. But I may just try to crimp it and see. So it should be fine here. Let's get the M3x25s and M3x50s I'm going to need for that. I did get, let's see if the cameras are going to work today. I did get this printed out. So I've got a spool holder in the colors I'll get some non-slip to put on the bottom, and then that can just sit on the top of it. At least for now. I may print out one like I've got on my 2.4, which is actually mounted on the back extrusion so that it doesn't slide and move around. But I figure this will work for now, or I might just put the holder on. Can always use more spool holders. They're always needed. And I'm still fighting. I'm trying to get the Big Tree Tech Pi set up outside of the printer, making sure that the screen and everything else is working. Right now the screen is not working, and I can't get it connected to Wi-Fi. So I'm working on getting it connected to Wi-Fi, and I've got a replacement screen already on order. See if we've got a better, not really. Just a little close on all the cameras, so we may be a little off. M3x25 and M3x50. So 25s, I've got two there. That kit has 50s if I need them, if they aren't in here. And then I'll have to get the can board on the onto the tool heads still. I do not have any M350s here. I'll have to check one of my other kits. I do not see it in the included hardware. I've got M340s, and that's the longest in both of these kits. So I'll have to check and see if I've got an M350 elsewhere. I should, between all the little different kits that I've got. I did get, last week we got the Nomi in and we got the fans. I did get the everything else put into this tool head. So we are good to go and ready on it. If I do have to, of course, change out the ends. This fan didn't have any, so that's good. I can cut it to fit and get it plugged into the right spot. I think what we'll do today, stealth burner, I think we're done here with the exception of mounting. So all this is done. I did get the pieces printed out for the LEDs, so the LEDs are installed. Sorry I did that off camera. It was fighting with a few of them. I had to try to reprint the carrier about 10 times, frustratingly, and finally got it printed in a nice configuration where it wasn't melting all over the place. Let's go back here. So I did follow the stealth burner installs and everything there. Of course, we don't need this because we're using CNC Tap. I think I need to pull up the, we're not using that one. I need to pull up the, so we're done with this manual. Let's see if I've got the Nomi manual. don't think I need anything on it, though. I think all we've got to do is set up the software once it's done. Morning, Mr. Thermistor. I will say building the Trident is a lot more fun than the V0, at least for my big fat fingers. And I did enjoy building the V0. It just, yeah, it's tiny. Although the salad fork, which is 1515 extrusions, wasn't as bad. So I'm not quite sure what that difference was. And I need... Oh, I also, if you didn't notice, I did get the frame mounted for the bed. It was something I did. So these two pieces in the back here, this one here, and then this one on the other side, I had them backwards. So they were pushing the extrusion forward towards the front of the machine and keeping it from falling in there correctly. Maybe I can get the tripod to work right here. That'll work. So the bed's on. I need to bring up the inverted electronics yet. I don't think I've got it downloaded. There's not much on it. I don't know how long we'll go today. It probably won't be too long, so I think we'll try to get the inverted electronics done, or at least get the rails in there. Next week I will be out of town, so we won't be streaming next week. Here we go, GitHub. So I do have should have all these parts printed. I do need some roll-ins. This is showing it going across using the fan mounts. So let's get our skirts on. Bed's not on because it's not that big of a bed with the 250, so it's not too heavy, but I'd rather not mess with it and having to flip this thing upside down. All the heat sets for this part are installed. I do have a nice holder for the screen that I found on printables. So it looks nice as soon as I get one that works. So let's see, we'll skip all the screen and we'll go right here with the logo inserts, and let's see if we can get a good camera angle. Get that out of the way. And I'm probably going to need a whole bunch of that. I do have the, these are the hinges for the doors. I do need to put the, there's a heat set that goes in at the bottom so that your screws can go through, and then they secure at the bottom. And these are the pieces. So these will go on the printer. These are not the stock, these are different hinge, so they open a little wider than stock. That'll go on the, like that. These will go on the side so they can open way out instead of just opening, you know, about 90 degrees where you can't really access a whole lot in the printer. But I do have to get the heat sets in the bottom so that those are, you screw the, I guess it's not really needed. Gravity will hold the screws in. But it's certainly a nice thing to have. That way you know you don't have to worry about it. So I will have to get those taken care of. I did get all of the panel clips are all magnetic. I've got all of them printed out. There's some tiny little printed parts that are go in the middle here that are like a roll-in nut. So you just turn it with a screwdriver and it'll lock these in place so that you can just snap your panels on. And the same with the mid-panel clips. They're also magnetic, so that you'll get a piece of VHB to hold up to the panels. Now let's throw these all over the floor and get them out of the way. This will be the back for the filament pass-through. I'm not using the hang-on filter. And I think we need to flip this thing upside down. And my tripod is as high as it goes. Let's see if we can get a better angle on this one. Maybe. Yeah, it's not too bad. So, getting ready to go out of town the end of the week, so I'm scatterbrained and not fully ready, I think. These are the little, I don't even know if they'll show up, but just tiny little pieces that'll go into those holders. And then I've got the regular stock clips to put on the back, and the magnetic panels also had these little clips here that'll go into a corner so you can get your spacing right. And I think that's all I need out of there. I will also have to pull the cable holder off because this is the one for the can board. And here is this is the holder for the screen, and then it's got these two pieces that actually go in front of the screen. If I can get them on the right. So that'll go in just like that. You won't really see much but the little white accents on the side once it's all together. So that'll look kind of nice to have a little accent there. I don't know if I showed them off before, but I did print out the beefier handles. Handles make it really nice to move these things around. When they're all together, panels on, there's no place to really grab it. So the handles make it really nice and easy to grab hold of. So we need some more pieces. So out of my box of stuff here. I think that is might as well do that too while we're in here. This is for the PCB holder for the limit switches, the X and Y limit switch PCB that came with the kit. It also came with the Sex Bolt mod piece, or the ZN stop PCB here, which no, it's not for the Sex Bolt mod, but I'm not going to be using it since I'm using tap. But this will just screw on right there, and then that mounts to your carriage, and go with that. So we need 2 little accent parts, of course our fan accents, these are the pieces for the inverted electronics, so they'll go in, and then your rails, your DIN rails go in, so they hold that together. Some of this stuff I think I just printed out extra for, or just printed out parts that I wasn't sure if I'd need or not, but I'd rather have them printed and be ready to use them and not need them than the opposite. I don't want to not print something out and then be stuck when I get to it needing it. All right, so, and this is the injection molded spool holder that came with the kit. Figure if I don't use it, it's it's at least a nice piece. I may use it if I decide to hang the spool holder off the back or the side. And like these are the old DIN rail holders that we won't be using. This is the filament guide that goes on the back. That I might use, I might not. If I use the spool holder, I definitely will. We'll see where we get with that one. I think that's all we need out of here for now. Oh, those are for the doors. See if I can scoot closer without knocking the tripod over. All right, so we're going to put the inserts in. All right, so these are our 2 pieces that get the inserts. Here are inserts, 1 of them, 2 of them. So those are going in from the back side here. You just line it up and hope that your tolerances are good. Let's see. I don't think my file will fit in there. Oh, barely. But only in the big one. I would expect, since they were all printed on the same printer, they should be good. And that's where these can come in handy. Get them open just wide enough, and then just kind of push it down a little here, a little there. And I'm getting it across as much of the piece as I can to keep it as even as possible. don't want too much pressure, and there we go. Get it in there nice. It'll look good when it's on the machine. We'll do the same with this one. I've had these accent parts break on the smaller printers as I'm doing this. And then hopefully you can get them out, the broken parts out, so that you can reprint. These parallel jaw pliers are great for so many things on these printers. There we go. Yeah, they're great for that kind of thing. They're great for inserting magnets into printed parts. I keep finding new ways to use them on these printers when I'm putting them together. So I'm going to keep using them. And at least for now, I'm only going to put one of the blockers in this piece, because I may have to put may have to use a keystone for the piece or the network. So these shows go in this way. I guess it's going to go that way. I've never used one of these before, so looks like that's the way it goes though. Make sure our parts not got any pieces sticking out that might stop it. And they show, yeah, that piece down. There we go, that one's in. I guess we're going to use this side here for the network jack if I end up having to do that. So we've got 3 T-nut, M3 T-nut, M3 8. Did not see where it told me to prep the power. Let's go back up. Heat sets are in. I'll have to pull the fans out, but the heat sets are already in the fans as well. Well, thanks for stopping by, Mr. Thermistor. Have a good one. You can always catch what little bit more I do today on the replay. Let's get this together. M3 T-nuts, and then that's going to be M3 by 8. This one here might be better. So we'll do the front ones, it looks like. M3 T-nuts and M3 by 8. Oh, those are hammerheads. Those aren't T-nuts. 3 T-nuts. Four of them, and they show them. They don't show either. They don't show which way they point. I'm just going to roll them in and point them opposite. Oh, I wonder if that's the one. One of these, I saw the ball. Well, I guess that'll still work. I did see the ball and the spring in the bag for one of these. I wonder if it's this one right here. The ball and spring are missing out of this one. Probably can't tell on the camera. Set it off to the side where I hopefully won't grab it again. And then these are M3 by 8s. And I did get a new set for these of these drivers to hopefully have a bit stronger tip, since I broke the 2 mil M3 by 8. That wouldn't matter, I guess, on these, since I need the 2.5. So let's scooch this over a bit. Hopefully that's in a good spot. Probably not. Turn it that way. So we'll get this one on. And I'm just going to leave it like it sits. See if I can get these lined up well enough. That started, and we're going to use, because there's no pass-through, let's use the iFixit kit with the extension on it, since there's no pass-through. Maybe I need to order some ball head drivers for these kinds of situations when there's no pass-through to get that Allen wrench in there. I thought that one was started. I guess not. Let's and these stainless look pretty, but I really would love to have that's not even going to work. Use the ball head from my Prusa. That'll work. I mean, these are just more decorative. They don't have to be overly torqued in there. They're not holding something really together that well. There we go. Make sure this is the front of the machine before I get too far into them. I'll make sure that the screen holder is going to fit in there once I get these two mounted. Okay. There is that, and then the screen holder. Yeah, that'll work. It's got a little gap on either side, but we can leave it as it is. This, I don't think the 8s will work. I think I'm going to have to go to an 8, either a 10 or a 12. Make sure I get the holes reamed out so that I can actually get the screws through there. Well, they fit anyway. And again, this doesn't have the pass-throughs, so that might work. And again, I'm putting these one facing out on either side, so the screw facing towards the outside, or the screw hole facing towards the outside. Let's see if we can get these lined up. I can always adjust the position of the positioning of the screen holder once it's together. I think the skirts give you no room to get your Allen wrench in there. This is even worse. You definitely need a ball head for this one. Okay, so that'll be our screen holder. Okay. They show the, I probably missed it someplace else, but they're showing the piece already in for the power, which I need to find my power inlet so I can get that put in there. And then 2 M3x8s, my M3 peanuts again. So this will go to the back. Flip it around. So this piece is going to go here, and then our power inlet over here. Then we need 4 more roll-in T-nuts. And I'll do them the same as I did the front. I'll put the one in the middle facing to the middle, and the one on the outside facing outside. And then I'll do the same thing for the 2 here that are going to hold that middle piece, which is this piece. I'll go in there. So let's get this one on first, because I need to dig out the power inlets to make sure they're installed in the other piece. I can always install that other cover once this one's in. Preload my screws and let's get that lined up. That one seems to bite. See if this one will bite. There we go. All right, so our power inlet and power switch. Right here. Let's go to this one. So I've got it here. This is the 2-piece. I believe, if I remember right, they had a nice pre-crimped termination in there, or pre-crimped cabling for it in this bag. everything else. I mean, these things are so nicely labeled. They did a great job on these. So like all your pre-crimped, they've got ferrules on the ones that go into the Wagos. They've even got a, I didn't even notice that, they got a cover for the power supply. Uh, 4 amp and 8 amp. Okay. Go that way. Let's see if I can find where that is. Should be an M38, I would expect. But I want to make sure. See if I can find where it's at here in the manual. It'll also show me my wiring. There we go. Maybe it doesn't tell me what screws are used, or maybe that's put together before. There is our micro switch. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. M3 by 10s to hold that in. And then I need the wiring so we can get the switch connected to that inlet. There we go. M3 by 10, M3 by 12, M3 by 12, M3 16. Where's my other one? Here we go. So I've got M310s in here. I don't even think that's needed. I think the M38s probably would have been long enough. But they say M310s, we'll use M310s. All right, nice and snug. It's not coming out of there. And then the power switch. I'm gonna go, that goes on there. I'll go up is on. I wonder if that'll go the other way. Like my ground down. It doesn't really matter, but typically I like to have the ground facing down. But yeah, it does. That's a personal preference of mine. It's not right or wrong to do it either way. That also puts my fuse at the top. Again, doesn't really matter. It 6 of one, half a dozen the other. It all works. See if we can get this fuse holder out of here. Oh, it's already got a fuse in it, so I don't have to worry about it. Most of them come with it in there, but I've had a couple that didn't. So I always like to check and make sure. All right. Now we're together. That'll be like that on the back of the printer. Let's get this connected. So ground, those. Well, there we go. I'm looking for a ground that's double-ended like this, and I'm not seeing one. Oh, it doesn't go there. Okay, that's why. So we've got brown to, okay, so they show brown to brown and blue to blue. I'm going off of what they're showing on the picture. So we've got brown to brown and blue to blue is what they show here. So that should be our wiring for the inlet and switch. And I don't really like the way the bend is there, but it's not really that big of a deal. It's not out of the ordinary. So brown to the outsides and blue on the inside. All right. So now let's get it mounted in here. And again, I'm just hitting each of the hole with my reamer just to make sure that it's the right size and I can get my screws in there. And my big fat fingers having trouble getting them in the holes. There we go. All right. And that's in. Get back to our skirts in the manual. So we've got power inlet and we've got the keystone. Oh, we go to the right camera. Power inlet and the keystone. So now we just got to get this middle piece here in. And I'm just going to do the same thing. Get my screws inside little holes. And I can do my best to try to line it up. I might have to take them out and do it with that motor right in the way. And that one seems to fit, so let's see if this one will. once I get the screws started, I can adjust where it's at, get my gap at least a little close to even before I tighten it down. So that is our front and our back. All right. Now we just need to do the sides, and we need M3s, two M3s and an M5. On each side, I'm sure. And they show in, and doesn't matter, I guess, on that middle one. So let's turn this way. So M5 going to the middle. And they show these in. Some of these go in really quick and easy without any real problems, and then they can roll right out, and then some of them are just a royal pain once they get in there. So I think these are all basically the same. There's one here, and then the same for the other side. And there we go. So, and then I think the fan holders are identical as well. So let's get these put in. Haven't needed to ream these holes out. Every time I go to just stick the reamer in, it just goes right in there, so that's nice. I'm still checking them, but yeah, their tolerances are plenty good enough to not need it. All right, so now we've got those done. Okay, M3/8. So this will be we can figure out that is that will be this side here that we're already facing. So this side gets the accent pieces without the fans. So go here to the messy side. It doesn't matter which one of these are all the same. And then this is going to go, these would go on the inside, and we'll get an M3/8. let's check. I don't think we'll need it, but just in case. Yeah, they're all good. Get this corner here in. Make sure there's no difference. Does not look like it. It does show the curve on the inside. There's one. Two. Do we have? Okay, so these do have a different piece. I do kind of see it in the drawings, so. These do have a cutout on the three sides and then one that's not. So the one that's not will of course go in this corner where there's no support. So that needs to go that way there. And we use 4 M3x8s to get this all together. That one needs some work. All right, so the first one's on. Rinse and repeat for this other side. And again, we'll make sure our spot that doesn't have the indent goes over here. Okay, there we go. some of these tolerances on the screw head for the hex driver are a little tight. And that titanium nitride coated one just doesn't quite fit in there. That's all right, it works out just as well. And there we go. So that's the part for there. This is getting an M5 by 10. 5 by 16 by 30. I think that's my M5 by 10s there. Yep. I don't have the 5mm reamer there, but that fits. And I do not have the smaller, or I don't have a ball head on this bigger screw size. Again, they don't need to be super tight, so just a little finger tight with the bit is enough. I just need to get my distances somewhat even. There we go. All right. Let's flip to this side and we'll do it all again. M3 T-nuts. And then M5 T-nut in the middle. Go. This one lined up. All right, and now we can go here. Well, we've got this one done, those done. Now we're going to mount our fans. Get our two fans that I've prepped with heat sinks. Okay. This one's going to get M3/8. Basically the same as what it was for the for the other side. And I guess we're going to go with the cabling up. That's kind of what it looks like it shows in the manual. Now I need to look at the inverted electronics. Here we go. Okay, so those are using, at least looking at this picture, it looks like they go into the rails, and they've got some keys on them to hold them into the rails. So it does not look like I need to worry about screwing them into the fans. So we will get the fans on. These are the same as the others. They've got indents in 3 corners. So they'll fit in there just fine. I'm just taking off some of the excess here with my file. Just filing that little bit where it did a retraction, a little blob just stayed in there. Right. Well, this is a little easier with the fans underneath there at the same height as the skirt piece. That micron or so on that titanium nitride coating is just enough to not quite fit in some of these screws. But it's all right. Having multiple options is always a good thing. Just use this iFixit driver. It works great. I guess I could use one of my either the ES15 or the ES126, but I don't even know if they're charged. Although it is nice having those when you're doing so much of this manually, having one of those to just kind of go through it and zip it right down is nice. I just always forget to make sure it's charged and always forget to pull it out and use it. All right, so that one's ready. And I'm rethinking it. They don't show it on any of them. Well, I guess it has to kind of go that way anyway, though, because of the, I don't think it'd work very well up here unless you pulled it out, but these will work. I can always zip tie them or something and get them in here a little bit neater. Looking to see, oh, I had that one wrong. I thought I'd set it in there right, and now I see it's wrong. It needs to be rotated 90 degrees. And now I see it too on the logo. Well, let's see if we do it this way. Just trying to figure out what way might be better. I think that'll work still. and I'll figure out a way to do it. Sure, I can manage it well. I've got plenty of zip ties. If I don't have any mounts printed out, I can always print out some zip tie mounts that'll go into the extrusions. I've also got some sticky back ones that I can stick in place if need be. Cabling maybe a whole day trying to get that done, or a couple of days trying to make sure it's nice and neat, especially since I'm thinking about trying to find a clear bottom panel so that I can use that and show off the electronics. Of course, if I do that, I really want to make sure my electronics bay is as clean as possible. I guess while we're here, we can probably go ahead and put the other piece of the bottom panel on, since we're doing the inverted electronic. Let's see if it tells when. 510. There we go. So that's going to be M3 by 8. I do have the hinged panel, but I don't think I'm going to need the hinges, so I may reprint the two hinges and make them not hinged. So let's do that piece. These can come underneath. I can manage them later. Bottom panel. All right, that's this one here. Looks like it's the same. Just have to get the plastic peeled off of it somehow. At least on the one side. The bottom, the bottom that's going to be, I guess I'll do it, but see if maybe there's two different, so we've got a gloss for sure, and this looks like it's probably glossy as well. Okay, getting it started is a pain. Some are real easy and some are not. Okay, yeah, they're both glossy. Okay. That should go on like this. And see where my panel clips are. Okay, I think I'm going to have to print out a couple more of these anyway. Oh, maybe not. There's only one on each side. And then the back one, so I will have to print out 2 more. They do show VHB holding these on. I just don't have a good camera angle for this particular part. I'll pick up the stream cam here in a moment when I get it on. The panel itself has kind of fallen in because it's normally held with these by VHB. So as long as I can access it from the other side to take it in and out, I can get the VHB tape put on to hold it once it's in place. That'll hold it all down, and I mean gravity's going to hold it to these clips anyway. But it definitely wouldn't hurt to have the VHB on there. Yeah, I'll just reprint print a couple more of these here. That way I don't have to worry about I don't need the hinges doing the inverted electronics. So let's flip it back over. Oh. So I've just got these in. I'll reprint the back 2, which are, I've only got the hinges right now, so I'll reprint these 2 back here so that I can do with the inverted electronics. Okay, so that is on. Yeah, that's not going to come out, so I'll have to flip it back over to do the VHB. I'll do that all at once when I get the other pieces in and get those other 2 printed. So let's see. Let's go to here. They are showing to put the rails along with the fans. So we'll do that. Do not see install GIF electronics. That is just the pictures. The README does not say how it mounts. But these are our pieces here. They do have well, let's see if we can get an angle without the camera falling off. So they do have some pieces that stick out to kind of align them with your extrusions, though they seem to be a little thicker than my extrusions, but that's okay. Again, I'll hit it with my file first, just to take down a little of the where it may have left a dot behind from the retraction. And I don't know, all I'm doing is just kind of knocking it down a little bit, make it a little smoother. Most of them are really smooth as it is, but sometimes you get that one spot where there's just that little bit of a droplet where it did the retraction at the end. So you can kind of see there's the little raised spots that kind of key it into the extrusion. So we'll do, that one goes over there. So there are two different ones. There we go. So they'll lock in there. Now, it does not say what size screw and T-nut to use in the thing. It's definitely not a M5 by 10, but I think it's going to be an M5, probably an M5 16. I don't have, I do not have the CAD program. I don't have any CAD installed on the laptop, so I'm going to have to look at it over on the desktop. Let's see if I've got it. I should be able to download it and view it on the desktop and see what the what it's looking like. Well, I just saw something I need to get anyway. I see a deck lifting handle for it, so I guess I'm going to have to download that and put it on as well. Get that printed. I'll do that when I print out the other bottom pieces. The F3D. Download. Folder, let's see. Open up. I don't have Fusion on my desktop. Oh, and I'm probably got to log in. Why would it just open and work? Oh, it is. Okay, good. So, don't need that one open. Sorry you guys can't see this. All I'm doing though is loading up the CAD so that I can take a peek at what they're showing as far as the parts. And this, so there we go. They don't show the screws. I guess I'm just going to go ahead and go with what I'd already figured I needed. It was an M5 with the M5 roll-ins, and use that. Since I am not seeing for sure on the CAD what screws. So M5 16s do look to be the right size. Hopefully I've got enough M5 roll-ins and enough M5 screws. Okay, so I'm going to put one side in and then I'll get the rails in and do the other side. This is not going to be the easiest with the angle I'm going to have it at. In order to have a camera on it. And I'm going to put these in with the screw hole out. To make it a little easier to not see it once everything's together. That one's in there really nice. All right, so they show okay, well, that worked out a lot quicker and easier than I thought. And they show, and the CAD has the R1 and the R2 2.4 layout. So skirts are the same on the Trident and the R 2.4 now. So these are the R2 version of the skirts. So that should be how I am, and it looks like they're showing on the other side. So I'm going to leave them loose so that when I get the rails in, I can adjust based on where the fans are at on the other side. because you don't want to block the fans if you can avoid it. Being right-handed, this side's a little easier to get in. Much as I try, and I can do a good bit of things, I'm not 100% ambidextrous. Yep, and I get the screws in here in the right spot, and let's get the rails in before we go trying to get those screws done. All right, so we got the rail in, and I'm moving this piece in so that once I get this down here, hopefully it'll just slide in here without doing too much damage to anything. There we go. Maybe. All right. All right, we are not blocking the fan over here in any way, so we tighten it down. Looks like we're pretty close to the same. But that's what rulers are for. About 10 centimeters on either side. No, actually about 110 millimeters. There we go. All right. One more. And I think we're going to call it once I get these in here. Have a lot to do to get ready for going out of town, so I think this will be a good spot. I'll get the other pieces I need printed out. All right, so probably should have done this on both sides. Just pull it out and then get it in there. Because it's a little tight with the printing tolerances. least on this side, my screws are already set. Make sure we're loose and moving. And then we can set this side. Go, make sure we get it in just enough, and then we will make sure that we're not blocking the fan. Tighten this one down, and I would expect that we should be 110 millimeter as well, or somewhere close to it. And if we're not, I'm just going to make it 110 millimeter just because it should all be the same. Okay, 110. This side's a little bit trickier because of the power inlet. But that's 110. So we've got 110 on all of those. There we go. And then again, I think we'll wrap it here, but we're going to get power supplies in. I think I'm going to go ahead and mount it this way, or I'll look at the electronics enclosure. I kind of prefer to do this way, especially since it's already on that end. I've already set my voltage to 115. So I'd kind of like to do it that way. And here is our octopus. So that'll go someplace up here or here. Probably go here for the power. And then yeah, I'd have to go, I want it there because of the cable for that. So the pi will probably go somewhere here or here. Ideally, I think it'll go here. Of course, I don't have any of the pieces, the DIN rail mounts on these yet, but I think that would probably go best there. This is the SPI connector for the screen, and the SPI connector is on this side for the screen, on the screen itself. Of course, the octopus came with its own USB-C cable, but if I can, I've got these nice blue ones that are braided, as long as they'll reach. Because I think they're only 6 or 8 inches. But I've got a couple different ones, slightly different blue, but I think they're the same length. So we'll get them in there. So we'll be looking at something like that for our layout. I'll double check and see. Still got the, it did come with a Pi power supply. So I don't know where that would go, but I believe the octopus has a dedicated Pi header for it, for power. I'll double check and see. If not, then we'll use the Pi power supply and run it. I'll have to double check and see on the octopus, but I think that it does. So I'm going to get, we'll go ahead and stop here for the day. Next week I'll be in, we'll be traveling until Tuesday morning before we're back in town. So there won't be a stream next week. It'll be the following week, and we'll work on getting electronics situated, including getting the board mounted on the tool head, which I guess we could have done that earlier. And then we will get the electronics mounted. I'll have the replacement screen by then, so that'll be in there. Or I'll have to pull that out and go with my wave share, which I've got the wave share screen mount already printed as well. We'll see if I can get this BTT Pi working on Wi-Fi correctly, because I do not want to have to run the Ethernet if I can avoid it. I can always do it if need be. I think it'll just look cleaner without it, and especially if I end up getting a clear panel for the inverted electronics, which this panel will fit on there, just like that, to hide them. But I really think having a clear panel and some really clean cable management would look really nice. So I'll look into the clear panel as well and see what we can do. If I can do that, then I'll print out the little handle piece anyway. But if I do the clear, then I can also, since I'll have to order it and get it cut, I can always have them cut a little finger hole at the front so it can be easily picked up. I'll look into that, and I'll look into printing out the little handle that I saw and see how that looks. And that handle might be, a nice enough little touch. I might not need to have the little hole cut. I'll look at both and see what the options are, and I'll look and see if I can find some place that will cut the acrylic and ship it to me. I'm sure there's multiple places that I can find to do that and have it done. I just have to track one down. But we'll leave it here for now, and we'll pick it up in 2 weeks to work on the electronics. I'll look at the LDO, and I'll look at the main manual and see how they're laying it out. I may have to reprint a mount for the power supply so it can sit the way it's sitting currently. I think that all the other mounts have it along the rail instead of across two, and I really like it being across two if it will work, which the screw holes don't quite line up right, so it may have to go along a rail. Again, I'll look and see, check what my options are on that, and we'll get ready to do the next stream in a couple weeks. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and everybody have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks.